So you've launched a new political party this week, Pro-Romania. Tell me what it stands for.
It stands for some values of the modern European social democracy, center-left, which have been abandoned by my previous party. And a lot of not only young people, but enlightened citizens, pro-European citizens of Romania, they are looking for this kind of new politics. And we hope to be successful because it's a big struggle. My ex-party has slipped to an ideology and policies very, very close to those promoted by Mr. Orban in Hungary. And we just hope to bring back on the European track Romania and Romanian politics. Okay.
It's not just a rebrand of the ruling party, the Social Democrats. I mean, how is it different?
It's not actually. We've just had a very harsh reaction from the new leadership of my former party, and as I was telling you, because they slipped so much on the extreme, and they are following those policies which you have been already confronted with in Hungary, some politics from Poland. So that's why we just kept the ground on the center left, the pro-European center left, and we are very committed to fight for.
And how ambitious are you for the party? What can you realistically achieve at the next election?
Very realistically, we will have first European elections next spring, then presidential, and then parliamentary election 2020 in Romania. We are just building this alternative for the old party, old politics, and of course I'm not so optimistic to say that we will win the next elections, but we will play a very, very important role in keeping Romania on the European path.
And you might have to form a coalition with your former party.
For the time being, this is not on the table, but I'm ready to do it as soon as a new leadership of my former party will bring back them on this progressive, modernizing European path, which has been abandoned lately.
Okay. I understand there's been defections from the Social Democrats to your party already, and it's hit their majority in Parliament. What impact might that have on Romania more generally?
I've been trying to gather around me a team formed mostly from the ex-cabinet people who I've been working with in promoting modern policies. So I understand very well that for being effective, we need a team and we need to stand the ground for the progressive policies. For the time being, the new group has 12 MPs, but maybe more people will join us as soon as they will have trust in our commitment. And then in the parliament, we will try to change the majority in what regards the most important issues on the table. For example, keeping the independence of judiciary, fighting against this idea of the government to give up the private management pension fund, the idea of continuing IPOs and private management, professional management for the state-owned companies, policies that I have implemented as Prime Minister and have been abandoned lately with this leap to radical populist policies which are now promoted by my ex-party.
You were expelled from the Social Democrats. How much is pro-Romania about doing something genuinely different, and how much is it just about trying to get back at your former party?
No, when I started the new project, I was just saying very clearly, or as clear as possible, that we want to have and to promote center-left pro-European policies. And my former party, of course, is full of people who are looking very carefully to this new project, but also people who prefer to go back to the past to go back to very populistic, very unrealistic, very undemocratic and unprogressive politics. And I'm sure that it's just a matter of time until they will lose on this path to the past of Romania. And people will understand that if we want to continue to develop, to progress as a European country, we need to fight for these ideas, not to always to turn around to populistic policies.
When you say populistic policies, what are you referring to?
I'm referring to this political speech which has been landed from, and I'm very familiarized with, from Hungary, a little bit of Poland. I mean, the idea that all the bad things are coming to Romania from Brussels, from international companies, from foreigners. My ex-party now is fighting for a referendum to go back to what is called traditional family, and also the lack of stability and predictability in the economic and fiscal rules. I was very much in favor. I fought for and I tried to implement stable and predictable policies. That's why Romania not only respected the European standards of deficit and investment, but also we have succeeded to be maybe the fastest growing economy. Now, the idea that we do not continue with structural reforms, we do not continue to be competitive, we are just bribing people to come to vote, sharing profits which are not sustainable. This is a very short-sighted policy, and I think that sooner or later, we could go back to the bad times of economic and social crisis, which we unfortunately still remember from 2010, 2011.
Okay, you say you're pro-European, but aren't Romanians more concerned about jobs and good healthcare?
Yes, they are, and that's why not only being pro-European, it's enough as a policy. Where as long as I was prime minister heading the government, we made important reforms in the economy. We increased the number not only of the jobs but salaries. We decreased taxation. We made the Romanian economy very competitive. And now I see that this competitiveness it's going down. That health and education have no more investments, and the only focus of the government is how to stay in power and how to protect their leaders in front of different allegations.
Corruption is one of the key concerns for Brussels. Do you support the work of under fire corruption investigator Laura Kövesi?
I did support, and I'm a former prosecutor, I did support the idea of independent judiciary. And as you know, there are a lot of positive results, but also negatives one. I'm the best example maybe on this. I was accused of something. I just played by the rules, meaning I stand down from my position. I did not change the law. I went to the court, and I was very happy to receive the decision of being absolutely clean and not guilty. But here, it's very important to have a responsibility of politicians, to accept the idea of this political responsibility. Also, prosecutors should not try just to be politicians and to make files only to be in the media. They should remain independent, but they should be more responsible in terms of professionalism and applying the rule of law.
So do you think Kövesi should be removed or not?
Now she's going to finish her mandate, and I just hope that the next chief prosecutor will be more effective and will be less involved in politics.
You resigned as Prime Minister in 2015 after a nightclub fire linked to corruption. You've also been under investigation for corruption but recently cleared. Nevertheless, won't Romanian voters see you as damaged goods?
I think that once again, I played by the democratic rules. I did not change the law. I did not attack the judiciary. I just stand for my case in front of the judges, and they decided that I was innocent. And I think that this is a good example of judges, independent judges, applying the law. But it's also a good example that politicians and prosecutors should be responsible. Then, of course, anti-corruption and the fight against corruption, it's one of the top issues on the Romanian society. But that should go hand in hand, and it's going hand in hand with our potential to develop, our capacity to be a stable and predictable society, and to stand and remain or playing even a much higher role on the future European construction.
Okay, one final question. There's been protests or rallies in Moldova about reunification with Romania. Where do you stand on this issue?
I still consider all the people over the river Prut in now Republic of Moldova as our brothers. If they will, in the end, based on a referendum, they will decide to reunite, that would be a historic achievement for our people, but we should not push this. First of all, we should give a very honest hand for them to modernize the society, to improve economy, to strengthen the institution, to become ready not only to unify with Romania, but also to be a part of the European Union. This is not an easy path. This takes time, money, and effort. And Romania and the Romanian people are ready to do it.
So the Moldovans have to want to unify with Romania, and they have to be in the EU?
They have to reform their country. They have to be a more competitive and democratic society. And it's our obligation as brothers and neighbors to help them to make this road faster than they are doing now.
Okay, Victor Ponta, thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you very much. Always with pleasure. Thank you.